Hello YouTube and welcome back to some more Rome 2 Total War 2 versus 2 action. I am Southern Wolverine and we are looking here from the perspective of the Roman general, or not Roman, rather the Egyptian general in the foreground, overlooking the Egyptian army under my command. To my left here is the Bactrian army under command of Comrade Drago. So of course my elephant unit is my general. I have 2 units of light peltasts, 3 units of these Galatian swordsmen. The main line is 4 units of garden variety pikemen, and they are flanked on either end by a unit of Thurio spears. And I also have 3 of these cheap Egyptian slingers as my forward skirmishing line. My cavalry force includes a unit of skirmisher cavalry, and the main body is 3 units of Ptolemaic cavalry. Comrade Drago has a large force of peltasts, 5 units of them it looks like, and a similar number of these levy pikes, basically to act as a screen for them. He also has an elephant, in this case Indian armored war elephants. He has 3 units of Bactrian noble horse, 2 units of Hellenic cataphracts, and 2 Bactrian horse archers. A lot of strong cavalry there. And some decent cavalry in my army as well as Ptolemaic cav are pretty solid. The opposing armies are Pontus and Rome. The Pontus has this unit of scythe chariots. This is something we're having to watch out for. And also a number of these noble blood cavalry. 4 of them. These are also a very capable unit. And a unit of Pontic royal cavalry. Pontus' main force also has an awful lot of these Pontic peltasts, 6 of them, and 5 units of hoplites, presumably to give them a force to retreat to. It's a little bit more mobile than pikes. Rome has 2 velites, 2 auxiliary Syrian archers. He's got a main line of 4 evocati cohorts and a second line. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a couple Praetorian guards in here. So he's got, I believe, 4 evocati, 5 evocati, and 2 Praetorian guards. You can tell they're Praetorian guards because they wear purple cloaks. And you know you're manly when you're going into battle wearing a purple cloak. You're confident in your masculinity. And then with the Roman generals, general and bodyguard, 2 Praetorian cavalry over here on the left flank. Very capable cavalry, but only 2 units of them. So you see they've sort of massed together, which makes sense to a degree. All your forces are concentrated. If you coordinated your army builds, well, this could be very dangerous to combine your armies together like that. But since I've got a wide open field here, I'm going to go ahead and send my cavalry out into it. And you're going to see them, as the battle progresses, work out in this direction. They're going to attempt to take advantage of all that open space and the relative weakness of cavalry on this flank. Yes, they're Praetorian cavalry who are very capable melee cavalry, but there are only 2 units of them. And against shot cavalry, you know, get a good charge off, should get an advantage on them. I'm also hoping my skirmisher cavalry can work around behind him and whittle these guys down a bit. We'll see how well they succeed in doing that. And if the cavalry avoid engaging me, then my guys can feel free to throw javelins into their very expensive infantry. We outnumber them by quite a bit, it looks like. Certainly the Roman doesn't have very many guys, and part of the reason for that is these Praetorian cohorts and these Praetorian cavalry. So you see his army at the moment is very compact, which is good in the sense that he's got a lot of strength focused if he were to make an assault forward like that. But at the same time, it gives me an awful lot of flank to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and start moving to the flank. Drago is moving his infantry to stay with me, so you see we're kind of making a line about here. Pontus is not moving to respond to our movements so far, so we're just going to keep working it. These cavalry are going to start to threaten. You see Pontus is being sneaky with his chariots and has hidden them behind this dune somewhere. So we could catch a glimpse of him here finally. But he's going to keep moving these guys around to try to hide them from us when exactly they're going to launch their strike. He wants to, you know, make that as much of a surprise as he possibly can, which is, you know, pretty much what I would do on that map if I were to play where he is. Now I see my skirmisher cav have come out And they're throwing javelins into these Praetorian cavalry who don't appreciate that very much. So they're going to come out and try to chase me down. Unfortunately, unlike a lot of the horse archers, these guys can't throw their javelins backwards while they're running away from these guys. So I'm just going to keep running them away and come out and threaten these guys with my Praetorian cavalry. Not my Praetorian, my Ptolemaic cavalry rather. So these guys are going to keep taking javelin fire from the side while these Ptolemaic have come up. I'm also bringing over my one unit of Thurio spears, so that if a cavalry fight does start, I can throw these guys into it, hopefully while they're far away from all these heavy infantry, and get an advantage. He sees the number of forces involved on my side and just pulls those guys out, doesn't want to deal with that at the moment. He is moving skirmishers up to try to engage me. I have got some missile fire on him. I finally killed one of these Praetorian cav, which means I've done a fair bit of damage to him because they've lost all their health and they are starting to lose men. Now my slingers are also opening fire on these Praetorian cavalry, and they are going to switch fire over to these auxiliary Syrian archers before long. I did get my cavalry out as they were starting to take arrow fire. Don't mind too much if these Thurio spears take missile fire. They're not going to do me a whole lot of good in this fight, except to help out against these Praetorian cavalry. Meanwhile, this cavalry standoff over here is just sort of continuing. Drago is moving forward his skirmishers along with mine to assist in working over the Romans, since Pontus is still hanging back a little bit. The Velites have come out. They got a decent volley on my Thurio spears, but the Thurio spears say, the hell with that, we can throw javelins right back at you. So those Velites are now retreating under slinger fire, and I'm pulling my Thurio spears back to my line. What I wanted to avoid is the Velites getting close enough to put javelins onto my war elephants or into my pikes, who should be pretty effective against Roman infantry in front of them, but they are very vulnerable to missiles, especially to high damage missiles like javelins. So now the Roman, perhaps seeing the skirmishing fight is not going entirely his way, is sending forward a bunch of his Evocati cohorts. I've launched this cavalry engagement on this side. He did use his Drago ability at the right time, or whatever the hell it is, that takes away my bonus versus large, albeit temporarily. So I still got my nice charge bonus on them, but I'm not going to get the full benefit of my spear bonus against them in the short term in any case. He also got one of his Evocati cohorts into the fight as well, and I'm going to try to counter that by bringing my Evocati in, or my Ptolemaic cavalry in, my third unit that was trying to hit some skirmishers. They're going to try to come in here and help tip the balance of this fight. They also were in the area of effect of that Drago temporarily, so lot going on here. It's going to become kind of a major brawl. I'm bringing spears over to fight these cavalry. I'm going to try to help out, but these heavy infantry are going to be a problem for them. Meanwhile, the elephants are coming out to participate in that, and these Evocati are fighting against my pikes among the trees here. Kind of hard to see what's going on, but you do see that my pikes are holding their ground quite well against a much more expensive Evocati cohort unit. So this unit, see, they've suffered some losses. That's probably mostly to missile fire from these Velites here. But I'm holding my line here, which is exactly what I'm looking to. Meanwhile, I've still got all these Galatian swordsmen in reserve. Meanwhile, Pontus is moving up, and he is engaging, starting to engage Bactria. My Thurio spears here ran up to try to keep off this flank. So they're a little exposed to missile fire at the moment. They're one of the units I don't mind too much taking missile fire. There's also a significant cavalry engagement going on over here between the various noble cav and the Bactrian noble horse and such. Major cavalry engagement. There are more friendly units in this fight than enemy, so I think this is going to go our way. We'll see. Meanwhile, the horse archers are contributing to the fight even too, and some of these hoplites are also coming over from the Pontic army to try to help out. Now, in this cav fight, it resolved. A number of my elephants died. Actually, all of them pretty much died in that fight. But the Praetorian cavalry also all died, and left me two of my units of the Ptolemaic cav, albeit somewhat depleted. And he has 3 units, 2 Praetorian Guard, and his Evocati cohort coming out of that fight. So I think losing the elephants was kind of a significant blow. I was hoping they would do more damage. But I only lost 1 unit of Ptolemaic cav and 1 unit of Thurio spears. It took out 2 Praetorian Guard, as well as his general unit getting badly beaten up. So I think that was a pretty close engagement. I think I came out slightly ahead. I'm definitely coming out way ahead here as these pikes continue to just devastate these avocati while suffering very few losses from the avocati. They're definitely taking missile damage. So this one unit of pikes did turn in an attempt to keep this hoplite unit from flanking me, but it turns out that wasn't what it was looking for. It's in an engagement here with these levy pikes from the Bactrian army. And this is, they got kind of into the pikes here, so this is actually a pretty close fight. There's a major skirmish going on here, which it seems that Bactria is winning, as the Pontic Peltas are mostly in retreat. The Bactrian elephants are over here tipping this cavalry engagement and trying to take out these hoplites. The cavalry engagement has definitely gone Bactria's way, so he's not free to engage. Pontus has very few units left. He's got 3 units of hoplites and a wavering unit of peltists. My cavalry got into what's left of the general and the Roman missile units, so the missile units are pretty much gone, which leaves Rome with just 1 avocati and 2 Praetorian Guard units. See, these Galatian infantry came around to help mop up the last of these avocatis, and they're just going to retreat right through my pike line and leave these 2 pikes here to face off against these Praetorian Guardsmen. Now, I guess my opponent here didn't realize just how effective pikes are from the front, because he sent yet another unit, another very expensive Praetorian Guard unit in this case, right into the front of my pikes. And you see they're losing decisively against a much less expensive unit. And my missiles are helping out as well. See, my missiles have suffered very few losses. They have taken little concentrated counterattack fire, and they haven't taken any cavalry charges or any of that. So they're doing quite well in terms of staying alive, at least. And my cavalry is even still alive, these 2 units. So they're going to come in to try to finish off these Roman infantry who are going to mass rout. And then the Pontic army is also going to rout, as he had very few men left himself. So in any case, you see my 2 units of Thurio spears got beat to hell. My cavalry was suffered quite a few losses, as did my elephants, also getting wiped out. But they also did a fair bit of damage. The elephants didn't do as much as I was kind of hoping they would. But the missiles did reasonably well, and the pikes did quite well also, against a very small Roman army. See, the Roman army was almost 500 men smaller than mine. It was 400 plus men smaller than mine in any case. No, I'm sorry, I'm looking at losses. Sorry, actually it was only 100. He had more men than I thought. Well, okay, whatever. In any case, he did very little damage, only less than 400. I did twice that, and drove him off, basically. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Drago's army. I did 3 times that, almost. Suffered half as many losses. So he just, other than this 1 unit of Praetorian Guard that was involved in the cavalry fight, his units didn't do all that much damage. So that 1 unit did, roughly a third of the damage that his whole army did. And Drago, his cavalry did okay. His elephants didn't do much, but they didn't suffer many losses either. And also, his Peltas did a ton of damage. Look at that. Peltas just shot the enemy to pieces. So that was the big thing there. The skirmish battle was definitely went our way, as did the cavalry battle. So Pontus, see, the Pontic cavalry was just getting trashed. What I wasn't able to catch there was that Pontic scythe chariot units did rush around at the end and managed to get a flank on Drago and do a fair bit of damage to some of his pike units. But at that point it was too little, too late. And these hoplites, this is why I don't understand the hoplite front army. The hoplites just didn't do very much damage at all, considering that this is I think a 600 talent unit or something like that. You're looking at 11, 12, 7, even 49. And 3 of these units routed off at near full strength. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure I understand using hoplites instead of pikes, or cheaper spears, Thurio spears or something like that would work just as well for a screening force, because they're not going to beat pikes head on, they're not going to beat swords head on. I don't entirely understand that whole strategy. But in any case, thanks once again to Comrade Drago for playing a 2v2 with me. And a good game to our opponents, Zaka, blah 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 blah, and Volalfla. Sorry if I butchered your name. In any case, good game to you guys. And thank you once again for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. And I am Southern Wolverine, wishing you a good day.